Bottom of the basement at the Pauls. Welcome everybody tonight. High school football. Nothing about. We're going to talk all about high school football tonight. Podcast number 6. Like I said last week, we had about 750 people watch the show.
Hey.
So I'm thinking we're going to go Syndicate, CBS, ABC, ESPN. Somebody's going to be calling.
I think Nickelodeon going to pick us up.
We're going to go on the WB first. The WB.
So I think things are going really well.
With Doug and Wiley Williams.
A couple of coaches said to me during the week, your podcast is really good. You guys can't cut it off at podcast 8. You got to keep going. So we'll have to negotiate with our producers and see what we can do. Maybe
shout out to the producers over there.
Great job. You guys are doing a great job.
Milford Mill in the building.
So let's jump into tonight's show. So tonight we're going to have a great show coming your way tonight. We got Corey Johnson from Edmondson High School.
My man.
E-Dub.
Yep, he's going to be in the house. We're going to talk to him about his experience with COVID-19 as a coach. So it should be pretty interesting. Dunbar head coach Lawrence Smith is going to be on with us tonight. Talk about his team. Talk about
the GOAT.
Talk about what's going on down in Dunbar. And about 7:30, we're going to have Henry Russell from St. Francis Academy. He's going to be on. Going to talk about what's going on with their powerhouse program.
You talking about Henry of St. Francis, the leader of the Pirates of the Caribbean?
The number one
Henry
team
Russell,
in
right.
the nation.
He's going to talk to us about how their team's preparing for a season, and
you want me to play?
And they'll having like a video going on HBO talk about last year's season, so it should be pretty interesting. Talk about him. We're going to cover Carroll County tonight, and we're going to cover Baltimore City football. Going to do the game of the weeks. We're going to do college, high school, and pro. And then we're going to take it from there. So we're off and running right now. Let's go over our COVID-19 report.
Breaking news.
Alabama.
Head coach Nick Saban
has coronavirus.
And has left the facility.
And the AD for the program.
Unbelievable. So who's going to be the next? Who's the head coach in waiting?
They're going to see if they can get the guy that went to Florida Atlantic to come back, Lane Kiffin.
So it might be the running back coach Charles. What's Charles' last name?
You want to come over? Just come over to my car.
Might be him. They haven't announced?
I'm gonna still be sitting there. Just come over to my car.
He has to go in the quarantine.
It would have been Mike Loxley. He's with us, and we're glad about
That's
it.
big news. No update.
City,
all right, Baltimore County.
Baltimore County, we did have a meeting.
College tests every Monday, and he was like, "What are high school kids doing?" He said, "The only thing I know is when a kid comes in and says I feel sick, I send them home." He goes, "But example this week, they had one kid test positive for COVID. Then they started testing the team. They had 17, and they'll forfeit in the next 2 weeks." So,
it just sounds so crazy to say
17
he tested positive. He ain't got HIV. He got the flu.
What are you talking about? All right, moving right along. All right, let's get Corey Johnson on the phone.
Can you move your stuff? So I can get my headphones.
Now, I'm going to tell you.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Hey, hold on. We didn't introduce you yet. Hang on.
I'm sorry.
I talked to Coach Johnson several times while he was there.
All right, so we have Corey Johnson from Edmondson High School doing a great job. Big-time BTC supporter, big-time all-star coach. Great guy, knows what he does, lives up in Harford County, always down here promoting. Kids love him. Coach Johnson, now we got you. How you doing tonight?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm glad you're doing well, Coach. I was getting tired of texting you to see how you was doing and making sure you was walking and everything, but I'm glad you up and about.
The last thing that Scott just said is the thing for me. When you talk about the NFL's testing, college's testing, what protocols are we going to have in place to really test high school kids? And I think that's the biggest thing. And I think the other thing to look at is you never know how the virus is going to affect individuals. So we would hate to lose one kid. For the most part, we probably say 95% of kids have mild symptoms and move on. Correct. But you would hate to have a kid that was part of that 5% that had a deadly consequence.
Right. I'm telling you, Coach. Hey, Coach, so fill us in. When were you diagnosed with COVID-19? Give us a timeline. What happened?
So the end of July, the last week of July, I started feeling like I was having a cold. So I was having a little cough. Every time I moved, I had a cough. So I was just thinking I had an air conditioner cold. I was, just trying to ride it out. Took some, cough drops and things like that. And then August 1st, I actually moved into a new place. And so August 1st, while I was moving, it was getting worse. And then August the 2nd, I started having fevers. I lost my sense of smell on certain things. And then I just went really downhill from there. I went to the hospital twice. And they took, I'm not going to name the hospital, but the service was terrible. I went by ambulance one night because I was really having hard time breathing, a hard time breathing and everything. And so I walked out of the hospital after 4 hours because I just felt I wasn't getting the treatment I needed. My sister, who's in Florida, she's a brain surgeon. She's a neurosurgeon. She called the doctors at that hospital and found out that my fever was 103 and I had a spot on my lung. She begged me to go back, and I said, I'm not going to go back. And I said, I'm just going to try to ride it out at home. And then that was a Wednesday. So by that Sunday, I couldn't get the fever to break anymore. I walked up 7 steps and felt like I ran 20 miles. I was hallucinating, everything. And so she had called the doctors at Hopkins, and I was admitted to Hopkins, and I stayed there for 8 days. It saved my life. So everything that Trump was actually talking about, the remdesivir, the experimental drug, the steroids, the plasma, I had all of that. So Johns Hopkins saved my life. It was tough. By the time I got down there that Sunday, I had double pneumonia. That spot in the lung had turned to white in all my lungs. It was a scary time because I was by myself. My mom and my family was calling me, but you're in the hospital room by yourself, and I was scared to go to sleep. It was just an ordeal. I had to be put on oxygen. I was on 3 liters of oxygen. My oxygen levels were down like 86. So it was something. It was something I've never experienced before. I'm 47 years old, and I've had the flu multiple times, but nothing like this.
Never put on a ventilator, Coach?
I was not put on a ventilator, so that was the great thing. And I was in Hopkins, so in Hopkins they have a COVID floor, and the nurses were telling me there were some people that were in there for two months. So I was fortunate and blessed that the steroids kicked in. One of the things I really want to still find out about the virus is I have diabetes. I've been a diabetic for 15 years, and just why it really hits diabetics much harder than the general population.
You type 1 or type 2, Coach?
I'm type 2.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you that, Coach. Did you have any underlying conditions or pre-existing conditions that?
I have high blood pressure, cholesterol, so I take medication for that, and I've been on insulin. I've been on the needle for 15 years. So yeah, that was part of it, and I guess that played a part in, my demise when I did contract the virus.
Hey Corey, this is Big Reg, man, from Milford. Hey, first of all,
hey man,
God bless you, and we're glad you're back, man. I'm gonna tell you, I
miss you.
I miss you coming across Northern Parkway, coming to see me in those evenings we did, man. My question to you is
that where you got it? Is that where you got COVID?
No.
Corey, just don't even answer them at times. But hey man, just my question is, how long did it take you to get back to your regular programming, your regular daily schedule? How long did that take, and how was the acclimation period for that?
So Hopkins released me after 8 days once my oxygen levels got back up to 98. But when I came home, I was still feeling the effects of the virus. I just had a lot of crazy things. Even when I had the virus, I was bleeding, everything. They put me on blood thinners and all that stuff like that. So when I came home, I was still out of breath. I still had crazy pains and shortness of breath and things of that nature. So I would say, Reggie, a good month before I really felt back to normal.
Yeah, because I know you probably was tired of me texting you every day like, Coach, did you go walk? Did you get yourself together?
Right. Elwood, I really appreciated everything. I tried to answer everybody. I know that Bruce Cunningham had put me on the news, and I was on WBL as well. And I was just trying to, when it went to the news, and so I had high school classmates, that were texting me and contacting me on social media. So I tried to respond to everybody, because I truly believe that prayer works, and I was just happy that so many folks were pulling for me and were in my corner, and I tried to communicate with everybody. So it wasn't a bother to me. I was really glad that so many people were concerned, and I was happy to share. That's why I came on here tonight, also to share that, this is something that is very serious. And, I always said that I thought that a lot of us would get this disease, and just how we were going to manage it.
Exactly.
And but I also was on the same side of, especially being coaching in Baltimore City and all the things that are going on with our kids in Baltimore City, that we needed to have some structure and things in place for them to play. And so I'm still an advocate of that, even though I will say that this is a serious disease.
So Corey, that kind of leads to my next question. With all you've been through, and you kind of said it, so you are still an advocate for bringing football back either now or immediately in the future. Is that your stance right now?
Yes, it still is because, I mean, they say look at the science, look at the data. Well, if we look at the science and look at the data, we'd probably say, like I said before, that, 95% of our teenagers, although they may contract the virus, really aren't showing, the deadly symptoms of it. They're not being hospitalized. They're not going to ICU like I was. You have to worry about your coaches, of course, the older adults. But, I also look at and say, especially when you look at Baltimore City, what do our kids really need? And our kids really need to be out on the athletic field. And I tell you really right now, we're doing virtual learning. We're doing all virtual learning. But a lot of my athletes are struggling right now because people fail to realize they went to school, but they were going to school, but they were really going to school to play sports.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was football, basketball, wrestling, that's what they went to school for. And I was a AB student when I was in high school. But when I got to my junior year, I was tired of going to 7 periods a day, going to school at 7:50 in the morning. The only thing that kept me going was, hey, I had football practice, I had basketball, I had baseball, and I went to school for sports, really, And so I know it's really affecting our kids. And so, yes, I'm still an advocate of, getting our kids back there. But I also want to say that we do need to have protocols in place. We do need to have stringent testing. Because you never know when you could have an outbreak in your locker room, and just like somebody was saying before, with that coach that Scott was talking about, or you're asking them, hey, do you feel well today? That's just not good enough.
Yeah, and that's something that's about to happen in Anne Arundel County. We have like 3 questions that we have to ask them, and the kid can just say no to all of them,
right?
And, and then you let them go, and it's nothing.
Well, the other thing about that coach is that the kid might not have any outward symptoms, but he still might be a carrier of COVID.
Well, I'll tell you what, I go to the Y every morning at 6 a.m., same 3 questions. Do you have a fever? Have you been around anybody? Have you lost your taste? And then they take my temperature. So it's no, and then take my temperature. If I'm not over 100.1, hey, have a good swim. Right. And so. Right. And, when I first started in late July, when I first was coughing, I had the symptoms. I didn't have a fever. So I could have answered if somebody asked me, had I been coughing? Yeah, but I'm still thinking I had a cold, So.
Hey, Corey, quick question. So again, this is one of the questions we're going to ask Lawrence when we have him on shortly is, Lawrence Smith, coach from Dunbar.
I never heard of him.
Brandon Scott, Jack Young, all of them, you guys are in their circle down there. They all know you grew up with them. Have they reached out to ask you your opinion of what they think for sports in the city right now?
Yeah, Corey.
Well, we had an athletic work group. The head of athletics in Baltimore City, Tiffany Bird. We put together an athletic work group that involved ADs. I was a football coach. We had a swim coach and things like that. So we were getting input and we were giving our input as far as what was going on. Ultimately, the decision resides with the CEO and how everything was going to go from there. I had an opportunity to be in a 7-on-7 league that started last week, and
what?
we actually
you out there coaching? Hold on.
No, I can't. I can't coach. I can't coach. But we had an opportunity to have our kids in a 7-on-7 league, but I declined to join because we weren't on board with our admin, and then Baltimore City still has no workouts. And I talked with my AD today, and he said, they're going to start a plan that we're only going to have virtual workouts, no in-person workouts. So I just felt like it wasn't safe, it wasn't prudent to put our kids out on a field in a competitive situation, and we had no activity at all. And so that's what's really disheartening right now. Our kids are tired of virtual learning as it is, and now they're saying all we can have is virtual workouts. So that
you have tons of kids
difficult.
You have tons of kids that's out here that have undiagnosed learning disabilities. So virtual learning is not the way to go for a lot of them. And like as you said before, you have tons of kids that's in school because of athletics, and now they don't even have that. So it's like, I just got a call. The crazy thing is I just got a call from a parent this morning. Well, he texted me at like 5:59 saying, hey, can I talk? And I was like, yeah. So I wound up calling him, and he said, he was in a, altercation with his son because his son is just in a place where he's lashing out because he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have, and he's one of those kids that struggles academically. So being in the classroom, being around his peers and teachers and stuff that care about him. As parents, we care about our kids, but then you get a different type of loving from your coach or your teacher and stuff like that. So that's all of these kids are missing that.
It's definitely hard on their mental. I had a Zoom meeting with my team yesterday, and we talked about a lot of things. But again, it's a Zoom meeting, and so after they've been on Zoom all day, so it's just it's really hard for our kids, and I think they also are looking at some of our kids are looking at what happened in the spring, where our basketball team lost a chance to compete for a championship. Our spring sports were canceled altogether. They didn't have a prom. They didn't have graduation. And I think some of our kids are having in their mind, this is going to happen to us also, because it doesn't look like anything, and they're aware of what's going on. They're aware, just like, the vaccines have been paused and things of that nature. So they're aware of what's happening. And right now it just doesn't seem, the kids were so hopeful. Like I said, they were aware when Governor Hogan came out and made his statement that sports could resume. And I must have got 80 texts that night, but as I had to be honest with my kids. I said, there's nothing in place for us to even resume anything, so it's a really difficult situation. And I definitely feel for our kids. When we talk, I've been coaching for 23 years. So, I anticipate that I'll be coaching again in the future. But for these kids, this is their window of opportunity. I do want to give a shout out to the local schools. The local colleges have been contacting me, asking me about what kids we have available. They have been, contacting our kids, and so that's been a great thing.
Good. All right, Coach, we're going to let you go. Hey, great insight. I mean, that's
no
incredible.
No doubt.
It's a great story you just told everybody.
Thank you for sharing, man.
No problem.
Yeah, we're excited that
you a shot of 1738 for pulling through, Coach.
Wait a minute.
Thank you. I
Hey,
appreciate it.
stay safe. You need us, give us a call, and we're going to have a BTC Zoom meeting coming up soon, so look for that email.
We can't come down
All right.
All right. All right, Scott.
Corey,
thank you.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
Coach.
Take care, Coach.
All right. Take care, fellas.
Yeah.
So, that's an incredible story that he just went
Yeah,
through.
I'll tell you what.
No doubt.
I text Corey every day. He was in the hospital. He responded. When he got out of the hospital, it was like I was that big brother. And he coaches a little older than me, and I was texting him like, Coach, did you go walking today? And I he'd tell me like, I can't go walking today. I can go tomorrow. I was like, all right, well when tomorrow comes, you need to get up and walk. And I was on his heels about him, doing the right thing because he's a very vital part to Baltimore City athletics.
So for me, that's the second coach that I know has it. One of my coaches at St. Paul's, Jamal Johnson, had it.
Yep.
Went in the hospital at Harbor Hospital and was in a battle too.
Harbor Hospital he went to.
He went to Harbor Hospital.
Jeez.
And at one point they were ready to put him on a ventilator, and he was fighting it, didn't want to be on a ventilator. And him and I talked about. My wife checked in on him every day. He's close to our family,
that's why his wife
he's a great coach, and he was battling it. This is serious.
I had a kid. Well, I won't say he's a kid, and he's an adult. I have a semi-pro football team, the Baltimore Saints, and one of my guys, he was in the hospital for 38 days.
38 days. Wow.
He was on a ventilator 29 of those days, and he went in the hospital. He was like 265 when he went in the hospital. He came out, he was like 220.
Wow.
And but he's a living testimony. He's up and about, and he's moving around like nothing happened. But it is real, and I'm one of them people that I'm kind of on on both sides of it. Sometimes I think some people blow it out of proportion, and then I just feel like it's a case by case basis.
Right, and we talked about this. We realize how serious this is, but we have to live with this. This is going to be with us for a long time, so we need to. He's a testimony of beating it. Donald Trump just beat it, so we need to do it. All right, moving right along. We're going to cover Baltimore City tonight. So
he had to throw Donald in there, didn't he?
We have Lawrence Smith on the phone. Lawrence, you there?
Lawrence on the phone.
Lawrence.
What's going on? What's going on?
There he is.
Coach, what's happening?
It took me like 6 months to
Man,
get to you.
y'all competing with John Harbaugh right now. We're having a Fellowship of Christian Athletes meeting, and John Harbaugh is speaking.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
But I
come
said,
on.
You done talked to
I
John
said,
Harbaugh many times, Coach.
You know what? I did
said-
read that he's speaking tonight for that. I did read that. So.
So I said, nope. Scott Ripley called me the other night and woke me up, so I know I got to be here. So I made sure I was there.
Hey, Lawrence, I'm going to go ahead and start these questions off, man. Listen, you and I have been down there at the Raven Stadium for Coach of the Week, Coach of the Year twice together. We got our 100 wins together. What do you attribute to your longevity and your success?
Transfer you.
Good kid.
No, I'm messing with you,
No,
Coach.
good kids. Good
Yeah.
kids, man. We got good kids, and I got good coaches. I mean, my coaches make me look good, and we had a coaches meeting yesterday, and these guys they were sitting there preparing like we had a game this week. So I just get good coaches and good kids, man, and it's a test to the young guys and the coaches that's developing those kids year in and year out.
Coach, I told we had a conversation, Coach Ripley and Trog when he was here, and he asked me a question. How does Dunbar sustain their winning in the history that they have? And I tell everybody, and I told them, me and you don't always see eye to eye, but you are a leader of men, and that's one thing that I've been appreciative of. Those coaches that coach for you, they follow you, they study the game, they do all of the things that's necessary to be successful, and you're right there. You're the shining star of that program. You get those guys, the coaches and the players in line, and it helps when you got a administration that supports you through and through. So, although I'm not a fan, I'm a fan,
And he has a
I
Miller.
appreciate
He has a Miller on the staff.
Coach,
he has a Miller on the
Coach,
staff.
it's Rip.
Don't talk about that.
So-
I don't want Coach Nixon.
So,
no
so
problem
Coach,
with that.
what are your kids doing? I remember I heard you on the radio say the day Hogan said you could play, your kids were calling. What's going on down there? Are you guys out on the field, virtual?
They've been on the field since last year.
We're doing a couple different things. So we these kids, they out on their own. I'm just being honest. They out on their own,
Right.
doing in a couple 7-on-7 leagues.
As they should.
Our linemen that's the biggest problem right now, because we got to get our linemen. We can't. We're trying to do something to keep them
I'm gonna create a
lifting
line
weights
of
and doing
7-on-7.
things like that. So that's the biggest part there. But we have on Tuesdays, and we have offensive meetings. So we're basically doing installs virtually, things like that. On Thursdays, we have defensive meetings. We're doing installs, and then we have special teams meetings, because if they ever say that we get to go on the field,
Right.
then at least they know the terminology and the things that we want to do, especially with like a lot of the young guys coming up from JV.
Correct.
So that's a lot of the things that we're doing. We're using a virtual platform, and the other guys, they out playing 7-on-7. The skill guys, they 7-on-7 crazy. So that's what they out doing.
Coach, what about your seniors? Are they real emotional right now? Are they getting upset that they're worried about the future of playing, or how are you handling that with how many seniors you got?
Yeah, naturally. We sent out a lot of junior films, and I remember talking to Joker Phillips, who recruits our school from Maryland, and I was talking to Locks, and we were talking about. I was asking them how are they going to do this class, and they both told me. They said this is going to be it's going to be a hit or miss. They feel that it's going to be a developmental class, so they know that they might offer a lot of kids that basically might not pan out.
Right.
So, we still sending stuff out. A lot of kids are getting, getting looks and getting offers and things like that. So we just hoping for the best with a lot of these kids, kids that needed that senior film to help push them over the top. So we just got to try to hope for the best for with a lot of those kids. But it's a bad time right now, but I guess it's something we got to deal with.
Coach, I'm going to put you on the spot real quick. Who's the next Tommy Polly and Tavon Austin in the program right now?
Well, like I tell folks, those are guys that you can't replace. I mean, when you're talking about the things that Tavon done, you can't replace. But like I was telling you today, I have a sophomore that
Devin Roach.
Devin Roach. He's a sophomore. He already has an offer from Maryland. I remember when I sent Locks his film, and they called me and they offered him on the spot. And I talked to Galloway down in North Carolina, and he loved him. This kid, this kid's gonna be special. His cousin is the defensive end for the University of Miami, so this kid has it all. I remember when I called Locks and them, I said, I got a kid that reminds me of Tavon, and Lonnie Galloway, who recruited Tavon to West Virginia, he called me back. He said, yeah, this kid got it. He said he's doing things Tavon wasn't doing as a 10th grader though. But he's going to be special. We got some good kids, but that kid right there, he keep his eye on the prize and stay what he got to do. He's going to be a special individual. Like I said, he's already got some D1 offers as a sophomore. He's going to be the one.
Hey, Coach, I think you're talking about Quincy Roche. Is it Quincy Roche?
His
He
cousin.
is up in Temple.
No, he's at Miami.
No, he went to Miami.
That's
He's
what
at Miami.
He's at
Transfer.
Miami, yeah. I remember
He's defensive end for the Canes, man.
side note, Quincy didn't even make the Maryland the county all-star team
Or
until
the
I put him
BTC
on there.
game.
And I said, you cannot omit this kid. But anyway, now this is my question to you, Coach.
Don't worry, Reg. A couple of those mistakes been made over the years, but we're not going to talk about
We
that.
We ain't gonna get into that,
Okay,
Coach. Cut it out.
this ain't the time. My question
Elwood's
is,
fault.
now listen, seniors, do you have a stud senior who might not play if you do play in the spring? Because I heard some coaches are running into that issue with
yeah.
a
I
senior
know
who
quite
has
a few.
scholarship offers. He's like, Coach, I might not play if we play in March and April because we got camp coming up in August or July. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I don't think I have nobody like that. I know that's what's going to happen. Like you say, when you get a lot of these kids who listen to a lot of coaches, when, for instance, before you guys moved the Big 33 back, when you had coaches talking about it was too late. And I know they're going to be talking about that when they running into now coming to spring ball and things like that. But I don't have no kids there. I can tell you right now, wherever they roll that ball out and say we can play, I know they're going to be out there ready
You got
to go.
everybody. That's good
Exactly.
stuff. Good
I know
stuff.
they're going to be out there ready to go.
All 135 of them.
All right, Coach.
It's
Hey,
105.
Coach, we really appreciate you being on with us tonight. Hey, and we appreciate you being a school police officer.
Hey, Rip, I got
Yeah.
one question for y'all that I seen today, and I want to ask y'all, and you
Okay.
might can ask off the air, you can ask it now.
Okay.
How do you feel about, would you rather, I pulled up Fort Hill's schedule today.
Correct. We just
So
read it
for
out
you-
at the beginning. Yep. So we know about it.
Exactly.
Right.
So would you rather play that now or just hold out to the spring with everybody else?
You know what? My opinion is I'm scared the spring might not happen because, you're looking at reports last night. They're saying in January, February, if the flu comes out again, they're going to shut us down and start doing all that. And, right now
Wow.
it's right. So I think they're looking at let's play now while it's not as bad and see what happens. I mean, that's the scare I have.
Got you.
Now, that's good for you because Fort Hill won't be, if you do a playoff system, they won't be there at the end. So, right? Because you're still in that division.
Right, yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah, no, it wasn't good because thing was, he called me transfer. You don't make y'all dying laughing. I talked to Henry Russell. That's my guy.
Get
That's
ready to have,
transfer pro.
we'll get ready to have Henry on soon
that-
in a couple minutes. Right?
Henry, look, 90% of their kids, 90% of the teams they was playing now. So I was just
right.
going to go over St. Francis with a shopping cart.
Oh, you're going to get some good groceries.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
definitely.
Exactly.
Coach,
Yeah, so
Coach, I wear a size 4X and a size 15 if you have some extra Under Armour gear. Just want you to, just before we
It's
got
all
off the
good,
air, I
man.
wanted to let you know that 15
My
shoe-
man. Anything for you, Red. You know you my guy.
So Lawrence, look out for our email coming. The next two podcasts, we're going to talk about the best quarterbacks, the best running backs in offense and defense during our lifetime in the Baltimore metro area. And we were throwing some serious names out from Baltimore City. So look for that email so you can throw your names in there and help us out with that.
Oh,
that-
my man. Yeah.
You got two
All right.
automatic
I mean,
bids,
Yeah,
Tommy
you did.
Polly.
Hey, I said
and
Tommy
Football.
Polly. I went and watched
You
him
got
play
two
live
automatic
when I was
bids
a,
already.
when I was a young coach,
Actually called
and that
Pepper
guy
in
was
the rest of the
unbelievable.
game.
Yep. So.
They had
Two
some
best
guys.
running backs ever seen was Tavon and Tyree Foreman.
Oh,
in
we
the
didn't
state.
even think of him. We didn't say that earlier, right? There you
Yeah.
go.
I didn't want to say Tyree Foreman. Tyree Foreman top 3 in the state ever.
He said
Pulling up.
Keon Lattimore.
I said Keon Lattimore, but we'll talk about that
No.
next
Hold
week.
up, my
So
little Ray Ray.
Okay, that'll work.
we'll get it. All right, Lawrence, have a good one.
All
Thanks,
right,
thanks
man.
for
Take
visiting
care,
us
boy.
tonight. All right, buddy. Take
All
care.
right.
Bye. Hey,
Yo, you
I'm
rolling.
so
You
glad y'all
rolling,
friends
Scott
again.
Ripley.
I'm rolling.
You
I'm
rolling, baby.
Right. Hey, Dunbar always has it going on. Again,
Always.
that was a great question. If you're Fort Hill, you're worried about whether you're going to play a spring season.
Can't
You
get
got to
state.
get those kids right.
get state.
Exactly. That,
So, with them participating now, they don't get to participate in
Nah,
the spring.
they won't play in the
If
spring.
They put us,
Yep, a playoff
Full
system,
playoff
right?
system
And
together.
they've asked the coaches. I believe they're going to try to do a 4-team playoff system in each division.
I don't
so-
want no pause. I just want to play football.
Right, exactly. Some of the
Whatever the
some of the
amount
counties are
games
just going
I
to
can
play each other in their county.
Right,
So,
give me 4 or 5
right.
games. I'm going to go on about my business.
Right. All right, moving right along. Our third guest tonight, we got Henry Russell from St.
Going
Francis
right- you going right
Academy.
at it?
Yeah, we're going
Man.
right away. Henry, you there, bud? Henry. Henry.
Hey guys, good evening. How are you?
Hey, Bill Belichick from the Patriots. How you
Hey.
doing, Coach?
Coach, what's happening? How
Only
are
time
you?
I see Henry is when he's accepting an award at the BTC banquet.
Yeah.
7 times in a row.
You gotta come to the St. Francis 7-on-7. You'll see him all the time.
Coach, we just
That's
had
right.
Coach, we just
That's
had
right.
Lauren.
I heard what Lawrence said too. I also heard him bragging about some of his young players. So we'll see what happens.
So you gonna be over in his court with the shopping cart, huh, Coach?
There you go.
He forgets that we practice at Dunbar sometimes.
That's
so,
y'all field, ain't
You
it?
know,
I thought it was St. Francis Field.
when Lawrence gives us the blessing, man.
When he
you know.
gives you the blessing. That's what I'm
But
talking about.
hope everybody's well. It's good hearing everybody's voice.
Hey,
Same.
Coach, so I had to have you on here because fill us in on this show that's coming on because I know everybody's going to want to watch that with high school football. Fill us in on what's going on.
Yeah, sure. Last year, film crew followed us around the entire season. It's actually being produced by Michael Strahan's company, and it's going to be airing on HBO in mid-November.
Mid-November, all right?
So
Good.
it'll be a four episode documentary series on our season last year. So that should be pretty cool for the kids and the whole area.
You got the
get a
bootleg copy now, so
inside
I can
look
see it.
The bootleg copy.
The bootleg copy's a lot better, actually. So I probably should send you that one. I would,
Hey, Coach, that was a
But,
great.
should
That
be
was
pretty cool and
right.
good exposure for the whole city.
So 2019, you guys went undefeated, right? And where did you guys finish up for ranked in the country and stuff like that?
We lost one game.
Oh, you
We
lost
lost to Mater Dei out
Okay.
in California, and we finished up number 3, I think, in most polls, with a nice win over IMG. So I've seen it. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but they've been steamrolling folks this year.
Yeah, y'all
So
was the
it's a
Florida
shame
State
that we
champs
can't-
last year.
Right. So Coach.
Yeah,
so,
it was. We beat a couple state champs down there, including Miami Central, and the IMG game was a lot of fun.
So Coach, fill us in. So we're familiar with all the stuff that's been going on up here. What was the reasoning? Why didn't you try to play like an independent schedule now? Would some teams in states wouldn't play you, or what was your struggle right now? Fill us in on what was going on with that.
Lots of struggles. We were gonna play, and then we were getting word that we might not be able to practice. Certain places they weren't allowing padded practices. And once the MIAA, they recently decided to play. We were kind of at the point where we're not really sure if we started right now. I'm not sure if our kids are ready to play, especially some of the bigger kids, and just putting them in a situation that's, could put them at risk, basically health-wise, not being in shape to play football. With some of these big guys is a concern. And then obviously the COVID concerns. Everybody still, I've been listening to your show. There's, Coach Johnson, thank God he's okay.
Right. Yep.
We were talking about what we were looking at doing is letting kids that wanted to play, and the ones that didn't want to, just not, they wouldn't have to play. Same with
Right.
coaches.
Right.
Having coaches, not necessarily having to coach, but when we started having trouble finding a place to practice and all that stuff, it was just we just
Right, yeah.
decided to
Jack
try
Young
again in the spring.
Jack Young has the city on lock.
Coach, I'm gonna ask the question that's the elephant in the room. Is the MIAA gonna let y'all back in? And
I
if
wish
they
I knew
don't,
the
why?
answer to that question. I hope so. I think it'd be good to just to at least play us.
I know y'all
regardless
getting
if we're
tired
in
of winning conference championships and don't play the teams.
So Coach, are you looking
Yeah.
are you guys looking at spring? You're going to try to play a season in the spring against independent
Yeah, that's
schools?
our goal. We're
Okay.
going to try to play in the spring. We've been talking to some schools that would like to play in the spring. So
Northeast
we'll
will
see how
play
it
y'all.
all
Y'all can
shakes
come
out.
down to Northeast, but y'all can't play your starters though.
Okay, that sounds good. Hey,
It
that'd
still
be good
sounds,
for our.
still
We
sounds
have
bad.
like a B team, so we'll let the B guys. That'd be awesome for them.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good at Milford. We're good. We ain't gonna decline.
Come on, Reg.
No,
Come on, Reg. I know. Come on,
Come on, Reg.
Come on, Reg.
we ain't gonna decline.
Reg, I know you're loaded over there, Reg.
Eagles Panthers 2021. We stacking up. Let's go.
So, Coach, some
There we go.
Some of your big time college kids in college right now. How are they doing? Name some of them and how they're doing.
Is Blake playing?
Yeah, it's doing great. He's got kids everywhere. I'm excited to see the Big Ten get going. We got a bunch of kids in that league, and got some kids playing in the SEC. So we've got a couple in the Pac-12 too. So it'll be good to see those guys get going.
Coach, every now and then I get a big time recruiter come to my school, and they say, "Yeah, we got to send 2 coaches into St. Francis just for the offensive side. We got to send 2 coaches in there just for the defensive side." Man, that must be amazing.
The star-studded, baby. They the Patriots of high school.
A lot of talent. It's a good problem. Yep.
Yeah.
I think, you know what, though, honestly, I think it's great for everybody because there's so many these schools that come in, and when there are always questions they're going to ask us is, hey, is there any other good players around here? A lot of them, if they're flying in or whatever, they're going to have downtime and time to go visit other schools. So, Lawrence owes me some sodas for all the college coaches I sent over his way.
Listen, I'm a fan of St.
I think it's great. It's great
Francis,
for everybody in the area.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of St. Francis, not the football team per se, because y'all just beating up on everybody. But no, my son is the one of the guards on the basketball team there. Kyrie Staten just committed to Delaware State. So
Is he a football player too?
No, he's basketball. He used to play football, but they had too many players, so he didn't even have to play with them. So, but I love what you guys are doing with the program.
What's that, Coach?
He is an outstanding young man, great basketball. We did try to get him to play some football. He'd be a great corner, probably a great wide receiver.
Yeah, he don't want none of that problem.
But yeah, I mean, he is a great kid, and Elwood, he is he's got a bright future ahead of him. So wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Coach.
And appreciate your support.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Coach, like we said, everybody knows the story about Men for Others. Everybody knows what you guys are building down there. It's again, when we talked about at the beginning of the show, it's all this politics. This politics gets in the way of all this crap that's going on.
I'm about to go on a crusade. Hashtag free St. Francis.
Right. We know what it's about. It's about making mentoring these kids, getting them in better places and all that. So Henry, appreciate it very much for you coming on tonight. I'm excited about the show. I can't wait to watch it in November.
Yeah, Coach, keep doing what you're doing, and
Right.
I'll see you at Silks
And
when
I
I'm on
wasn't
the way
playing.
down
Send me
there.
the bootleg copy, Coach.
Thanks, thanks, guys.
All right.
I think Scott, like you said, it'll be a great inside look at some of the kids in our
Right.
program, and should be fun for everybody to see that inside look on the team
Yeah.
and the kids.
Absolutely.
Coach,
Thank you guys for everything you
Hey,
guys
hey,
do for
Coach,
the area.
Coach, a
and the
little
kids. We really appreciate you.
Coach, piggybacking on that, in our big 33 games, every St. Francis kid we've had on team's been nothing but a great character kid, no issues. Talk highly about you guys, what you do for them. So again, keep sacrificing, and Coach, we feel you. We know what's going on.
Hashtag free SFA.
Talk
All right.
to you, Coach Russ.
See you, Russ.
Thanks, guys. You
All right,
guys
buddy.
take care. Be safe out there.
All right,
now.
Coach.
All right, see you.
Hope to see you around.
All right, move right along.
Coach
Right
Russ.
along. All right, guys, we got 15 minutes. We got to cover.
That's all we got?
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
15
we good
minutes.
to go. We good to
we're
go.
running
Let's
Have
out.
roll.
some guests on here.
We've had some great
Let's
guests.
Somebody
roll.
get Barack Obama on the
All right, here
phone.
we
I
go.
wanna
Let's
talk
go.
to Barack.
Baltimore City. Who's up first? We're covering
Baltimore
Baltimore City.
City.
He
Of course, we
always
just-
goes first.
All
All
right,
right,
let's
then
you
you go
go.
second.
Ah,
you
no,
go first.
I digress. No, I'll go first. We talking about Manchester Valley, okay? Last year they were 2-4 in the league, 6-5 overall. Head coaches, what's his name? Kuntz, Coach Kuntz.
Bernie Coots.
Yeah, Bernie Kuntz, okay? They got a lot of guys coming back. We got this one kid. He's Jackson Boothby. He's a running back, but he has a 4.0, so he's going to be able to write his own ticket, and I'm glad about that. They got some bigs coming back, and, Matthew Roman and tight end Joseph Dubsky. They got some names on here, too. And William Sanat, 6'3", 260 with a 3.6. Yeah. And they got some big guys. Justin Stables, he's a running back, and he has a 3.6. So Coach was putting his these GPAs on here. So these guys are going good,
They're
man.
student athletes.
Yeah.
Jackson, Zach, Jaquan Dukes, and Vincent Smith are the guys he's
All
looking
right,
to have
let's-
back have
let's
an
see if you-
impact.
let's see if you guys have good memory. Who was the AD at Manchester Valley when they started?
The guy from St. Paul's.
Come on.
Gosh,
Dave Dolch.
Dave Dolch.
Dave
Dave
Dolch
Dolch,
down in Florida.
He
Shout
started
out to
the
Dave.
school. He started the school. He
Great
did.
job.
Got a Doge that's running like a.
Yes, Eddie Dolch down in Anne Arundel County.
Okay.
Guy that's going to beat you.
No, that's not
All
good.
right, move right along. Move right along. Let's go, Baltimore City. Here we go.
Baltimore City, of course, we just had the man of the hour on the line, Lon Smith. In the last 10 years, they're 121 and 24.
Wow.
4 state championships and 6 appearances. He had some guys there, Tyreek Sykes, Devin Roche, who was an athlete who was offered by Maryland as a sophomore, Jeremiah White at running back, Derek Massey, outside linebacker. Defensive lineman. He had some guys. I was laughing with him earlier. He said, I said, y'all are loaded. He said last year they kind of overachieved. Well, if you overachieve going to the state championship, then that's tough. So he has a great program, really good. Like I said, we don't always see eye to eye, but he's a great leader of men. He runs that program exceptionally well, and he does a good job. And those kids want to play for Dunbar.
Yep, Dunbar. Next team.
We're going with Century, straight up
Century.
Liberty Road. They were 4-2 in the league last year, 6-4 overall. They lost to Glenelg in the first round of the MPSSAA playoffs. Their top player, they call him DC Crosby. He's a running back, free safety returner. He had 7 touchdowns last year, averaged 11 yards per carry. He's that guy on the offensive side of the ball as well as on the defensive side. They call him DC. His dedication to the offseason to bulk up and keep his speed. Next, they got their quarterback, running back, middle linebacker. When the last time you seen a quarterback play
does
middle
it all.
linebacker? Landon Bruce. He rushed
Buddy Edmonds.
for 11 touchdowns, 9.3 yards per pass, and 71 tackles. 17 of those being for loss.
Claude of Mercy.
Yeah, but
Are
if
you
he
putting your
I
starting
was
quarterback
gonna
out
say
there?
he gets hurt. There goes your backer and your quarterback. Oh
Right.
my God.
And then the big is J.K. Kidd. They got some nicknames up there. He's a returning starter on line of scrimmage on both sides, and he was the gap opener for the team that ran for 2,301 yards. Century.
He's an offensive lineman like
He's
you.
an
I
offensive
think you're going to
defense.
read the BTC
Oh,
next
Yeah,
back
I'm
list.
Super
sorry.
22 back there.
Seven returners on offense, 6 on
He's
defense,
got to take Donald's spot.
and they want to
Reggie
win the
White,
county. They
offensive
want to win the
lineman.
region. And
Milford
they want to
Mill.
win the states.
TRW
Century.
Podcast. Next city team. What do we got?
Next
Elwood?
city, hey, listen, they might not be the number 2 team in the city in theory, but overall in the last 10 years they're the number 2 team, and that's Edmondson Westside High School. Coach Corey Johnson, who
What's
we just
up,
had
Corey?
on. He does an exceptional job at Edmondson with the talent that he gets in there. 9 playoff appearances in the last 10 years. He has an 86-43 record in the last 10 years. That he wasn't there all the 10 years. Coach Dante Jones was there some of those years, but this year coming in, he has Trayshawn White, that's the signal caller for the program. Keenan Ray, who's going to anchor the offensive line. And then he has some guys, Cameron Lee, Brian Berry that plays linebacker, Charles Turner. He does a really good job with the cards that he's dealt. So he's one of those guys that you got to really game plan for when you play him.
I tell you, I went up and watched them practice one time. I had to drop something off to Corey at the field. Have they put a turf field there yet, or they still have
No,
the
that's
same
still
field?
ball headed.
Right. I mean, Corey looked at me and said, "Rip, this is what I got to play on every day."
And he go out there and play
Yep.
football.
Well, he said you put the yellow work hat on and you go out there and do it. So.
They got to have safety vests on and everything. Put the cones out of the middle of the field.
All right, Reg, who we got again in Carroll County?
We're talking about Mike Cross.
Mike Krause.
Krause, I'm sorry, and South Carroll. All right, they went 1-8 last year, but they had a reason for that. They had a dismal injury plague 2019. They
Can
lost
happen.
their
I've
starting
had that.
quarterback and the Super 22 offensive lineman. He was out too after game 2. But they got a new OC, Mike Crumley, so they're looking to build on that. They're returning 5 starters on offense. On defense, they aggressively gap attacking, get to the quarterback type of defense. Ben Blum, Shane Allison, and let's see, Shane. You got Shane Ben, Sean Hackinson, Ryan Bernard, and Sean Patrick are some of those guys to look for at South Carroll, coming off of that 1-8 season after that, being hurt. And I played against Krause, and he's a good coach, so I know they're going to bounce back, and they'll be fine over there.
So one of the things that's driving me crazy when I was a head coach was the parents going, "You ain't doing enough to get us to be a better team." Wearing this tonight, Howard County Clinic, Mike Krause there every night, Tuesday, Thursday night. Kids are driving down from South Carroll to participate in Howard County to get better. Krause and his staff are there. That coach does everything for those kids. So hopefully, things will transpire. And
I don't have that shirt. Where's the 4X LT?
Moving right along.
Okay,
you were afraid to come out of the basement to come help us coach. You were in the basement with Joe Biden. He was with Joe Biden.
Right, wow.
Moving around.
Second shot.
Across the bow.
You got the Maryville Mustangs led by Coach Patrick Nixon, who's they're like, Dunbar might be the shining star, but they're right there taking some of their shine away from them. They beat Dunbar last year, the first game of the year, went to the playoffs, lost to Ligonier in a heartbreaker. He has Xavier Shell coming back, one of the top linebackers in the state of Maryland. Jermaine Gilliam, offensive tackle. He's a big Super 22 selection. And then he has some guys that came in. They get kids from everywhere. Patrick Nixon, he's built the program. He started off at the bottom and kind of worked his way up. And now, he's the talk of the town for Baltimore City. And they look to be, a solid program. Well, they look to be the staple of Baltimore City going forward. He has to fight with Lawrence at Dunbar, but right now they're the two top teams in the city.
I went out there when I was at St. Paul's recruiting. I went out there and saw Hamilton practicing there. He's got all the Hamilton kids there. They love that facility.
Coach Hawkins has that locked down.
He has a great feeder program. I won't say a feeder program, but kids want to go to Maryville. They want to play in that blue and gold. And then he has a staff that does a great job. He just lost one of his really good coaches to his rival.
Who you talking about? You talking about Sean Nelson?
On Orleans Street.
Play running back for Milford Mill?
Yeah, he lost
State
Sean,
champion 1987?
But I think, think Pat is going to do.
Shout out to my man Sean Nelson.
I think Pat is going to do a good job of keeping them in contention. And,
Coach Nixon's a
hopefully
guy.
one day they'll be able to crack that seal and make it to a state championship.
Awesome.
Yeah,
next.
I like Coach Nixon. Shout out Coach
next?
Nixon. We got Liberty. We going to go
Larry
straight
Luth.
back straight up Liberty Road. Good. Larry Luth, head coach.
Does a
they
great
were
job.
5-1 in the league last year, 8-4 overall. All right, right here, Larry just talking about how many reps these guys are pushing. Jake Liska is repping 225 26 times. Okay, and they saying that they say the defense is going to be the strength of the D line is going to be the strength of that defense. Ben Treat, I love to hear that. He's a 300-pound bencher.
Coach Will
I didn't lift 300 pounds till my sophomore year in college. That just happened. I don't know why. And Aiden Beck, Jerry Take, they're two guys coming back, and they got a three-way competition at the quarterback with Jason. There's no way I'm going to say Jason P., Tyler S., and a transfer, Jordan Ambrose.
They got three quarterbacks.
They got a three-way three-way trial for quarterback.
3 times.
Well, hey, that's what Larry Luth is doing. He might be changing it up.
Right. You need to go watch a game.
Yeah, and Nathan Godfrey and Cole Hudson are returners at corner. They're looking for a big player this year. 5-1 in the league. They may be going undefeated in the league this year.
I tell you, hey, when I was at St. Paul's, I played them.
Liberty.
I played them back-to-back years. Larry has got it going on.
That's why you vouching for him, because he whooped up on you.
Nah, he didn't whip up on me, but boom, you're right in the middle of a game, having a great game going on, and all of a sudden, you punt to him. He sets up the wall. They take it in for a touchdown. You come back, you close score again. Here they come. They score. Onside kick. I mean, he's well-coached football.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a lot of underestimated special teams guys around here.
Right. All right,
and special teams can win you a game.
I highlight one of the good guys I say in Baltimore City, Forest Park High School, who does an amazing job in the Division II in the Baltimore City. Coach Sean Markley, who's a Forest Park alumni. They've been to 5 playoffs in the last 10 years. He has running back Dominic Fauntleroy, offensive lineman Darrell Jones, linebacker Tyron Long. He has a couple of transfers in that's doing a good job. Howard Campbell, he came from Digital Harbor, who can be really good for him at the running back position. And he has a coaching staff that believes in what he's talking about. So,
awesome.
Coach Markley has been doing an exceptional job with Forest Park over the last 6 or 7 years, and I'm excited to see the transformation of them moving forward in the city.
Yep, great program. Go ahead. Where are we at?
We
now?
got Westminster Isles.
Unbelievable. Chris Basler doing a great
Basler,
job.
He was 6-0 in the league, 10-3.
10-3.
Overall, lost to the people we were just talking about. Coach Nixon and the Mervo team. They lost in the regional final.
They pushed them to the limit.
They did.
Yes,
they
they
did.
They pushed them to the limit.
Again, they're returning players. Eric Strenko, he's a running back linebacker. Also, Super 22 guy, BTC, shout out. All conference, all county, 1,300 yards rushing, 19 touchdowns. And here we go again, 116 tackles. You get the picture of these guys, two-way players.
They on defense a lot.
Alan James Joseph, he's an O-lineman. He was second team all-county. Austin Brainbridge, wide receiver, cornerback, and DeMarco Brooks, wide receiver, safety. 7 returners on offense, 8 returners on defense. 21 seniors headlined by Eric Stanko, and they're looking for the repeat winning the league and possibly going to the state finals. Westminster Isles.
We got one more?
That's it for me,
you
brother.
got one on the,
I got one on my phone. I
Right.
do.
Yep.
Thank you, Ripley. That's why you the guy. That's why you the guy.
Mill. Matt Miller's team.
Matt Miller. Last year they were 4-5 last year. Okay, they bring back 8 or 9 starters on offense and 8 on defense. They got to replace the quarterback from a year ago, but they bring back much talent at the skill position and that they have in the previous year. Defensively, they graduated some leadership, but again, they're bringing back some solid core people from some underclassmen. Vogel, wide receiver, Tobias, DB, and Koch. They got a punter on here. I want a punter. I need a punter. I appreciate that. And Cox was he was an honorable mention all Met by the Sun. That punter was honorable mention Met by all Sun. And I'm going to say it, Segeski is a Super 22 selection. And they got a few other players, and they're waiting for it, and they're ready to come back. And we're talking about Matt Miller and Winners Mill.
All right, real quick, game of the weeks. Here we go. We would have had Edmondson at City.
Corey
Edmondson,
Johnson.
You can't pick
Edmondson.
City after we talk to Corey.
Corey Johnson over City.
You got to take Corey over City.
Liberty at South Carroll. Liberty at South Carroll.
I'll go Liberty with this.
Kraus, I'm sorry, brother. I got to go with Liberty.
I'll go with Liberty, too. My fault, Coach Krause. Keep coming to Howard County with them kids.
Dunbar at Pilati. Oh, Dunbar. beat.
Dunbar and Polly?
Yeah, Dunbar at
Dunbar by
You
60.
said Pilati.
Dunbar by
Holly.
60.
Holly, Dunbar.
Dunbar by 6.
60.
All right, Dunbar. We're going with that.
We're going with Dunbar.
Good game right here. Westminster at Century.
Westminster.
I'm going to go with Century with the upset. We got to pick upset. I'm
Okay.
going with Century.
Upset.
All right, and then we'll go
Man
Man
Valley.
Valley at FSK.
I go Manchester Valley. SSK is coming along.
Right.
Man
Well,
Valley.
the
I'm going
new
with
head coach at FSK is a good guy. He's having a little
Yeah,
coaching.
he is.
He's having a coaching clinic right now as we
Yep.
speak, and I'm going with the upset.
I'm going with upset.
Okay.
FSK.
Y'all going with upsets.
All right. All right, and then we have the final city game. We got Patterson at Mervo.
I'm going with the
Whoa!
Breaking it out.
Where you
breaking
going
it
with?
out. Patterson.
Clippers over Mervo. We bleed blue in this building.
Coach Nixon, I will not let you down. I love Coach
Mervo,
Mitchell. That's my guy.
Mervo.
I love Mitch.
Mervo.
But we got to go with Mervo. We got to go with Mervo.
All right, real quick. College. Start betting. Get your bets ready. Georgia at Alabama.
Alabama.
Nick Saban.
So what? So what? It's a machine.
I'm
It's
going
a
with
machine.
Georgia with the upset. Georgia, Alabama.
Better Mountain Dew.
LSU at Florida.
Florida is angry from losing last week.
We're done?
Oh,
They're
yeah,
not playing?
yeah,
Our producer said they're not playing.
Not playing. All right, so we don't have to worry about Auburn at South Carolina.
Auburn.
South Carolina upset South Carolina.
Auburn.
All right, NFL games. Here we go. Steelers versus the Browns.
We need the Browns to win. We need the Browns to win.
Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger.
We need the
taking it
Browns to
down.
win.
Packers versus the Bucks.
I take the Bucks. I like Bruce Arians.
Packers.
TB12, but I got to go with Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, so do I. Packers. And then finally, Ravens. At
No question.
Ravens.
That's
I
not
will
a
take
question.
Digital Harbor over the Ravens, so I'm going with the Eagles.
Going with the Eagles.
What is wrong with you?
I'm
We're
going
going
with the
with
Ravens.
we're going with the
and a little
Ravens.
shout out to defensive coordinator for the Eagles, Jimmy Schwartz, Mount
Jimmy
St. Joe
Schwartz,
grad,
yes,
sir. Mount St.
Arbutus,
Joe.
DePaula area grad, my man Schwartzy. We're going with the Ravens, though. Ravens big time. All right, again tonight we're going to wrap up this podcast.
Shout out to Joe Biden.
We want to thank our sponsors again, Under Armour, who takes care of us during our All-Star game. We want to shout out to Rich Hausler, best realtor BTC has. You want to sell your house, buy a house, that's the guy you want to call. And we will
Rip, give him a teaser about what's going on with our
All right, so podcasts 7 and 8. We have 2 more coming up, 7 and 8. We're going to cover us 3. We're going to send out information emails to the BTC coaches and ask them to nominate or come up with names of the best 5 quarterbacks they've seen in their lifetime.
And I'm going to post on my Facebook page for answers and stuff.
Best 5 running backs.
Is there a way they can the people who watch can send something in?
Yeah, if they want to send something, they can send it to TRT Podcast. Just
TRT 2020 Podcast, right?
So
TRT Podcast 2020.
You can go on our Facebook page.
And I'll post every week for starting tomorrow, every position for every week, and get answers from that like that.
So we sat here 5 minutes before the show started, and we were throwing some serious names out. Cyrus Jones,
Bobby Sablehouse,
Richard
Lucas
Johnson,
Phillips,
Ali Culpepper,
Reggie Brown, Roger Brown, Vaughn Hebron,
Keon Carpenter.
Who else?
Reggie White.
Aaron Maven. Yeah, Reggie White Jr.
Yeah, Reggie White Jr. Oh, we had
Antonio
the Tommy
Freeman.
Pollies.
Brady Smith at Loyola. Brand Hall at Loyola.
Billy Kosh.
Definitely Tavon Austin.
Tavon Austin, right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going to be throwing.
We're going to need some help with the linemen.
And this is just for the Baltimore metro area. Apologize, PG, Montgomery, Frederick, all of those.
Baltimore metro area.
But, we play a different brand of football back
Well,
in
you
the
could
day.
just take the
Tapper
last 5
at
teams
City.
from Wise and do the
Right,
PG
exactly.
County.
Tapper at
Adrian
City.
Coxon.
Charles Tapper. Wow.
Right.
Willie McGirt.
Right. Ambrose
Sean
Wooden.
Price.
Sean Price.
Yeah.
Victor Abamary. Who else? Eric King at McDonald's.
Amos.
State. Right. I mean, we got some serious. We're really going to have to.
Well, hey, just let me get this in. I want y'all to know something. You got your states. You got Florida. You got Texas. You got California. But Maryland
Division I
produces some of the
country.
This small area produces a lot of talent. Ask any Power 5 coach.
All right, we got to get out of here. We got to get everybody get home and relax and enjoy the week.
As I end every show, baby, shout out to the competition.
Shout out to all Baltimore County teachers. I see y'all in Ocean City on Friday.
Holla at your boy.
Wow.